Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about anxiety. As you may know, if you're a subscriber to my channel, I do have autism. And it's very common for autistic people to suffer with anxiety. And this subject has been on my mind a lot lately. So I thought I'd make a video about it. I decided to make more videos about autism in the future, and sort of talking about different aspects of autism, how it affects me, etc. I'm going to start with anxiety though. What actually is anxiety? It's constant feelings of fear. It's where you're anxious, basically. It's a displeasing feeling of fear and concern, like if you're really, really worried about something. And you're worried about what's going to happen. First, I'll be talking about my early experiences of anxiety. I used to get anxious about nearly everything. Going into shops, because I was in a world which I didn't understand, and I found the world to be a terrifying place, and I didn't understand it. I had a lot of anxiety. And, I'd get anxious about nearly everything. If there was some loud music in the shops would make me anxious, so many things would make me anxious. If someone said I wasn't allowed something, for example, say a drink, I think they meant forever. I was never allowed it. What they meant was I'm just not allowed it for the time being. But I think they meant forever. I'm never allowed one ever again. And also, if something bad happened once, I think it was going to happen again and again. And I still do sometimes now, to be honest. A bad situation that I've had in the past, I'll tend to think the same thing's going to happen again. But not as much as I used to. But anxiety is still a problem to me now. In fact, almost recently it has become a lot worse, actually. Now, whenever I start something new, I worry about it. Or if I'm going to start something new, I'm really worried. I have all these fears in my head, and I worry that something's not going to go right. I'm worried that I'll mess up. Because I have this fear of making mistakes. I absolutely hate making mistakes. And if I make a mistake, I feel like I'm going to really stick out and people are going to look at me and think I'm really stupid. And I always relate a mistake that I've made to autism. Often, I know that everyone makes mistakes, but I naturally, or almost always, relate it to autism. If it's a very minor mistake, I might not, but I mean a very minor mistake. A very minor mistake, I might not. But yeah, when I have made a mistake, that makes me really worried and I start panicking, like, what do people think of me? Oh no, I always think oh no, I bet that looked really stupid. Oh no, I bet that looked terrible. That must have made me look like an idiot. For example, I went on this camp and I played human netball, and I'm no good at sports. And it took me right until nearly the end of the game to realise that you weren't allowed to run with the ball. You had to stand with the ball and throw it to whoever you want to throw it to, whoever's on your team. But I ran with the ball because I hadn't even managed to catch the ball until then. Because most of the time I was just running around, not because I find it very hard to actually catch the ball, or get them attention, to throw it to me or whatever. And also I tend to get confused about who's on my team, etc. But anyway, when I realised that I had made this mistake, this made me feel like, oh no, I bet that looked really stupid, that's... And I feel like I always stick out. When actually, they probably didn't even give it a second thought. But yeah, I often still can't help but feel anxious about it anyway. Also, when I've made a mistake, I'll often keep on thinking about the mistake, and I'll end up making more mistakes because I just can't focus anymore because I have this distraction of the mistake that I've made. When I make a mistake, I just go like, oh, I actually don't show it. I try, usually, unless it's my family, then I just, I say, oh no, I'm really, really sorry. Well, actually, with anyone, I often will say, oh, I'm really, really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that mistake that I made. But as most people would just say, like, oh, silly me. Honestly, made that mistake. Yeah. But not me. I have to keep on thinking about it. And sometimes I will make more mistakes. Sometimes I actually even have to go in a room and calm myself down. Because of the frustration of making that mistake. I know this all sounds ridiculous. That I get so annoyed just by making a mistake, but really. Well, it's not any mistake that I make. Like, if I make a film if I make, one of the films that I make, and, and there was one thing which didn't go down very well, I wouldn't just say, oh no, I'm screwed, this is awful, no! I would just say, oh, okay, I'll learn from next time. But it's more kind of other mistakes that really annoy me. No, that make me, a bit on the cross side. I used to actually get anxiety about getting certain illnesses too. I used to worry that I'd get them. For example, when I heard once that if you eat lots of fatty food, it can block your heart and you can get a heart attack. And this made me avoid eating fatty food just because I was worried that I'd get a heart attack. And whenever we were eating KFC or something like that, they say, oh, did you want them? Oh, no, thank you. No. I wouldn't eat it because I was terrified that I was going to get a heart attack. And once I started eating the fries, and I felt it was coming down, I felt, oh no, I'm going to have a heart attack now. Psychologically, I felt like I was going to. I used to just avoid eating fatty food because I was terrified that I was going to get a heart attack. And also, sometime later, I was actually really frightened of getting epilepsy. Like, when I heard that it is common, or fairly common, for people with autism to have epilepsy. And this made me really worried that I was going to develop it. And now that I had this fear in my head, I was convinced it was going to happen any minute. I started really worrying about it. And I started to think, like, I tried to get the fear out of my head, but I couldn't help it. It was just, I constantly kept thinking, oh no, I'm going to have epilepsy. I'm going to get a fit soon. And at the same time, I know it was very unlikely. I knew it was very unlikely that I would get it. I actually even knew it was ridiculous, the fear, but I couldn't help but feel afraid. I just couldn't help it. And one time when I was just, shivering because of the cold, I thought, oh no, I'm having a fit now, I'm having a fit. But yeah, I couldn't get the fear of having epilepsy out of my head. And I could even be aware that it was ridiculous. It was very unlikely that I'd get it. But I just couldn't get the fear out of my head. I knew it was unlikely, but at the same time, I thought it would happen any minute. I know it sounds completely weird and doesn't even make that much sense, but really. Well, that's all I can think of right now, really. Thank you for watching. If you want to ask me any questions about anxiety, then feel free to post in the comment box below. Or if you have any problems with it yourself, post a comment on how you can relate. That's, if you have autism yourself, or if you just have anxiety in general. But yeah, please post some kind of comment. I'd be very grateful for some feedback. Thank you a lot for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye for now.